To help you with your question, let's work through this together. So we are told here that on the 1st of January 20X3, Belinda has a prepayment of $400 for business insurance. Now, this is a position at the start of the year, which means that at the end of the prior year, Belinda would have overpaid this business insurance and recognized this prepayment as an asset this year. It would have been recognized within current assets as a prepayment. Now, the first thing that we always do with opening prepayments and accruals for that matter is we reverse them. The reason we reverse them is because last year, Belinda would have removed this $400 payment from her business insurance expense. But actually, it does relate to the current year 20X3. So we need to bring it into the accounts this year. What she would have done last year to recognise the prepayment is she would have debited the prepayment and credited the business insurance expense. So what we simply need to do to reverse it is the opposite of those double entries. So we're going to be debiting the business insurance expense to bring that amount back into the expense for insurance, $400, and we're going to remove it from prepayments. Remember, prepayments would have been an asset at the end of last year and the beginning of this year. So to remove it, we would credit the prepayment. Now, when we read on, it tells us that the prepayment at the end of the current year, December 20X3, is $500. Now, we know that prepayments at the end of the year need to be shown as an asset, okay? And they need to be shown as a reduction to the expense. So we're going to be debiting the prepayment, and that's going to be 500, and we're going to be crediting the business insurance expense by 500. Okay, so the closing prepayment is going to be shown as an asset in our statement of financial position, $500. And because this payment actually relates to next year, we need to reduce it from the business insurance expense. So we're crediting. Now, if we look at the options that are presented to us in the multiple choice options, we can correctly pick out that option 2 does include the 2 double entries that we see displayed here. But the question does say which 2 of the following journals would correctly record the effect of the adjustments above. Now, what you also need to realise is that in both these double entries, we are debiting and crediting 2 accounts, the business insurance and the prepayment. We can essentially work out a net impact. Here, we are debiting the business insurance, 400, but then in the closing accrual, we are crediting the business insurance by 500. Now, the net impact there is that we have got credits of 500, which are higher than the debits of 400. So the net impact there is that we're going to be crediting the business insurance by $100. And that is simply the fact that the credit of 500 is higher than the debit of 400 that we make when we reverse the accrual, the net difference being 100. We can think about the same thing for the prepayment. You notice that when we reverse the prepayment, we are crediting 400, but then when we recognize the prepayment at year end, it is 500. Again, the net difference being 100, and we notice that the debit this time is £100 higher. Okay, it's 500 and we're crediting prepayment 400. So overall, the impact is that we'll be debiting the prepayment 100. Now, it's important to realize that this net impact or summarized double entry is also permissible, and that, if we look at the options, is option 3 in this question. Hopefully that helps you with your query.